All right, guys. So earlier today, I said that Mr. Brian Stelter of CNN is the worst mainstream news personality that is on TV, right? And although Brian Stelter is definitely the worst, Chris Cuomo is definitely the dumbest, okay? He's definitely the dumbest, right? As this man has now been suspended by Chris Cuomo after some bombshell text messages that came out from Miss Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, showing that Chris Cuomo was a lot more involved in trying to protect his brother and advise his brother on his scandals than we were initially led to believe. Because allegedly, Chris Cuomo wasn't just advising his brother, right? He was actually using his media contacts and media resources in order to help him, which essentially is like CNN helping Cuomo with his allegations, right? It is one thing to, be advising your brother, right, in an independent role away from using those resources, right? I mean, and that's already not ethical, okay, because you work for the media, you're in the media. But it's a whole different level when you're using your media contacts, right? These people, again, are probably like work contacts and stuff like that, right? And you're using this to cover up your brother's Me Too allegations, right? That's the crazy part, especially considering the fact that your brother was one of the most popular governors in the country at one point, right? So again, there's this unethical relationship here going on between the media and a politician, okay? And this is something that CNN has ignored up until now, right? Where all this evidence has come out there and they can't ignore it anymore, right? So they now got to do something. But I will say this about Cuomo, right? And I think this should be stated. It does says a lot about him and his relationship with his brother. The fact that he was willing to ride or die for his brother like that, right? For as slimy as what his brother did, and the fact that what Chris Cuomo is doing to help him is also slimy as well. I mean, he is riding down for his family, right? He's putting it all on the line for his brother, right? And I mean, that's something that, there is something to be said for that. The fact that he did that. Now, like I said, with Chris Cuomo being so dumb, he honestly should have been fired before all this. The last strike should not have been this. The last strike should have been when he gave this really silly argument when he was discussing the Rittenhouse verdict with Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyer last week.
It's hard to believe that somebody chasing you is going to beat you to death.
Why else was he chasing him, Chris?
Probably to get him and beat him up, hurt him. But again, my problem is with the law here.
Okay.
Look, we don't know what he was going to do. All we know, now we do, because now we know that none of the people involved here ever killed anybody before or are known for that kind of violence.
Yeah, so Chris Cuomo is there with a big brain take in which he says, we don't know if the people that were chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse was going to catch him and try to beat him to death, right? And Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyer asked, what do you think they were trying to do there, Chris? I don't know. They was going to catch him, beat him up badly. Come on. Right? Does Kyle Rittenhouse, in the threat of being beaten up badly and the process, he could be killed, right? During that process, does that not justify him defending himself? Again, those are the type of takes that honestly should have got Chris Cuomo fired. So it's not like CNN is really losing a real journalist here. They're actually losing an actor, right? A character. And they can easily hire somebody to be an actor to replace Chris Cuomo, because he damn sure wasn't acting in the capacity of a journalist. So without further ado, let's actually read the New York Times piece here about what happened with this situation so that you guys get a better understanding of what's going on. The star CNN anchor Chris Cuomo was suspended indefinitely by the network on Tuesday after new details emerged about his efforts to assist his brother Andrew M. Cuomo, the former governor of New York, as he faced a cascade of allegations that led to the governor's resignation. Chris Cuomo had previously apologized for advising Andrew Cuomo's senior political aides, a breach of traditional barriers between journalists and lawmakers. But thousands of pages of new evidence released on Monday by the New York Attorney General Letitia James revealed that the anchor's role had been more intimate and involved than previously known. Here's one thing I want to note real quick. Letitia James, right? She's been a thorn in the side of the Democrats, right? She got Andrew Cuomo. Now she got Chris Cuomo. Okay? I mean, I'm just saying, this black woman right here, right? She's doing a whole lot of damage to the Democrats, right? She's been a thorn in their side. The documents, which were not privy to the public before release, raised serious questions, CNN said in a statement on Tuesday. When Chris admitted to us that he had offered advice to his brother's staff, he broke our rules, and we acknowledge that publicly, the network said. But we also appreciate the unique position he was in and understood his need to put family first and job second. However, these documents point to a greater level of involvement in his brother's efforts than we previously knew. As a result, we have suspended Chris indefinitely pending further evaluation, the network said. In scores of emails and text messages between the television host and his brother's inner circle, Chris Cuomo repeatedly offered advice. Please let me help with your prep. He texted a senior aide in March and made efforts to track down the status of pending articles at other news outlets, including Politico and The New Yorker, that concerned the Andrew Cuomo allegations. At one point, Andrew Cuomo's former top aide, Melissa DeRosa, asked the anchor if he could check his sources about a rumor that Politico was working on an article that included additional accusations, quote unquote, on it. Chris Cuomo responded. Now, this article right here uses the word sources. They don't really go in much detail about what it means. Now, some other articles that I read about this didn't really go into much more detail either, but apparently he used news industry sources, right? Which probably means contacts, right? People. Okay, and I'm pretty sure there are probably people within CNN that he was using, right? Which again means that CNN basically is complicit in this cover-up, right? Not just about the whole Me Too stuff, but also when it comes to nursing home scandal as well, right? Because in the midst of that, CNN had Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo on the show together, right? Two brothers on the same show, and this man is powering around with his brother on national TV, right, in the middle of a crisis. Like, nothing's wrong.
This is the normal swab I'm holding up here now, and for everybody at home. A very valuable object. There's only one company in the entire country that makes these up in Maine. All right, here's the swab. Is it true that this was the swab that the nurse was actually using on you, and that at first it went into your nose and disappeared, so that in scale, this was the actual swab that was being used to fit up that double-barrel shotgun that you have mounted on the front of your pretty face?
See, I said I was going to be nice and sweet.
I just want a yes, no.
And
was it
trying.
this?
I was trying.
Or was it this?
Very hard. Look.
Which was it?
Right? Again, this type of unethical behavior here really is damaging to CNN's reputation. I mean, their reputation was already damaged enough. This just completely shatters it, right? Nobody at that network is trustworthy, considering how this is what one of their biggest stars was doing behind the scenes. Chris Cuomo's entanglement with the last 18 months of his brother's governorship has proved a slow-moving headache for CNN, which has stood by its top-rated anchor even as a drip of uncomfortable revelations raised questions about the network's adherence to journalistic standards. Jeff Zucker, CNN's president, supported Mr. Cuomo for months, declining to discipline him after reports showed that the anchor had conferred in strategy sessions with his brother's political team, a breach of reportorial conduct. But this week presented a harsher set of facts for Mr. Zucker as he waited the fate of his 9 p.m. host. James' report included a text message from Mr. Cuomo to Ms. DeRosa sent a few days after a woman, Ann Rush, told the New York Times that Andrew Cuomo had made an unwanted advance towards her at a wedding in New York City. I have a lead on the wedding girl, the anchor wrote in the text. Chris Cuomo later told investigators that he had heard from a friend that maybe she had been put up to it. Referring to Ms. Ruth's allegations, he said that Andrew Cuomo's aides dissolved him of that notion and that he set his friend's claim aside. So that's that he said. So basically, this man is trying to say that this woman, right, who was accusing Andrew Cuomo, may have been put up to it, right? She might have been paid off. She could be political opposition, right? He tried to put that out there. Doesn't sound like that is in line with the believe all women, right? You shouldn't be smearing the victim. But hey, it is what it is. It's not like these people have ever really tried to seriously live up to their own standards, right? It's always rules for thee, not for me. Okay, and I really don't know how CNN can call themselves a news network after this, right? Their reputation has been permanently damaged, in my opinion, right? None of the people at that network are trustworthy, right? And I mean, it's funny because working at CNN is such a low standard. I mean, they have Jeffrey Toobin, right, still working there. The guy who exposed himself on camera, okay, and then they brought him back the first day to explain what happened, right? Which, I mean, again, was so weird, especially consider how he was doing it on set with a woman. Okay, CNN didn't even have enough common sense to have him do it with a man on set to make it less awkward. But anyways, that Brian Stelter is still working there, who is the absolute worst journalist in the media, right? The mainstream media, okay? And, you know, you still got idiots like Don Lemon as well, too, right? Who has his own set of allegations that he's going through, right? So it seems like CNN, this is damaging their reputation permanently, but it low-key could be a blessing in disguise long term, as it is forcing them to get rid of some talent that honestly wasn't all that talented, right? Maybe they should reevaluate the journalists on their network and, I don't know, maybe clean house and do what John Malone told him to do. The billionaire that basically came out and said that CNN needs to hire some actual journalists, right? They need to hire some real journalists. Maybe that's what they should do. But regardless, down goes another Cuomo. Most likely this indefinite suspension means that he's probably going to be fired. And that's basically it for him. He probably won't be able to get another job in the media. Or who knows? Maybe he will get a golden parachute, right? Who knows? He probably will. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.